Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Greatness Engineering Hour show. It is always a pleasure to be back and talk to you and bring you, champion people who are going to bring us, new knowledge, people who are going to inspire us. And we had a break, and it was really a well-deserved break because I had to recharge. I had to find, new guests that I want, to bring to inspire you. And today we're going to a very exotic place. We're going to Aruba. And I hope, you know where Aruba is. So I just want to give you a little bit of information, and then my guest will definitely add to that. It is actually part of the Netherlands. But it is located in the mid south of the Caribbean Sea and north of Venezuela. And so if you look at the pictures, I invite you to do a Google and look at the picture. You will be really inspired, and I'm pretty sure if you get the chance, you'll just buy a ticket and go there. But just to give you a little bit about, my guest today. So like I said, she is based in Aruba. Her name is Shamilla Williams. She's a business consultant, but she'll have the opportunity to, let us know exactly, give us, a little bit of background about her. She's a philanthropist, a wife, a mother, and grandmother. And she's a believer in everyone that can be, top level. And she's coached, numerous people, male and female, C-suite executive to achieve their goals. And today we're going to talk about a specific subject that is quite, dear to women. We're going to talk about menopause and the power of cycle synching, which is, both as a tool to maximize productivity and combine, with, the management, how you manage and the time management and different processes. And what you need to know is that, as women, we are constantly in a dynamic state of change, fluctuating, because when we look at our hormones, they always fluctuate day by day and throughout our menstrual cycle, and that's changed the way we feel. Our energy is affected, our mood is, sometimes strange, our body changes, and even, our strength and flexibility change. So it is something that can affect the way the way we make decisions, our productivity, and we'll get to know more of that when my guests, give us more insight. So sit tight, let us know where you're watching from, and don't hesitate to ask any question. We are here for that, and this show is for you. And as I said, it's about inspiring you. It's about, helping you to become the best version of yourself. So I'm not going to stay long. I'm going to bring Shamilla with us, and we'll hopefully going to have a real hour of greatness. So don't go anywhere. We are starting. Another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show, the show that is brought to you by the Birai Telekima Global Leadership Organization.
Real is important is if you just look at the word compassion, when it's behavior, it's something that can be learned, and it is something that we can embody through habits and through our daily actions.
To get this idea that if we interject this wisdom intentionally, I call them needle movers. It's the needle mover that's missing.
Don't deprive the world of your greatness. Please. Don't do that anymore. Dare to excel, dare to be sexy, dare to be you, dare to be the best version of yourself. Impact yourself positively, and from there impact others, and you are not alone.
So welcome, Shamilla, to the Greatness Engineering Hour show. It is a pleasure. I'm really excited about, this conversation. First of all, because we are going to an exotic place, and like I was mentioning, I've been looking at the picture. I said, I have to go there. I have to find a way to go to and visit this country because I want to enjoy I don't know, it's just paradisiac. But before I get to all the excitement, just want you to welcome you and also get the opportunity to know you. So if you can introduce yourself to the audience, let us know who is Shamilla, what you stand for, and anything that you feel like is very important for us to know about you.
First of all, thank you so much for having me on this platform. I was eagerly waiting for this moment to arrive.
Mhm.
Let's
Welcome,
see.
welcome.
I we call this the one happy island. We have sun, we have nice beaches, and we have very calm people here on the island. It is part of
Mhm.
the Dutch kingdom. We are what we say here at the coast of Venezuela. That's why most of the time, none of those bad storms don't hit us hard. We just get
Mhm.
rain. We love dancing, we love music, and most of us on the island can speak four different languages. So
Wow.
that's a little bit of the island. I am a
Okay.
mother, a wife, and most people call me the lady with 28 hours a day because according to them, I don't sleep. It is the
Superwoman. We have a superwoman here.
yes, 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 yes. And I was looking at the introduction and it said something about warriors. Yes,
Mhm.
women, we are warriors. But of course, if we just get all those necessary tools that we have in this world at the tip of our fingers nowadays with the internet, we can accomplish much more and more efficient. And that is what where I stand for. You
Mhm.
cannot
Mhm.
imagine I am the ambassador of International Men's Day. Yes.
Mhm. Oh,
Why?
interesting.
Because I believe if we women want the men to understand us, to live with us, to do it the way we want it to be, we must understand them too and give them a place, a safe place to express and to get to know us. So that's
Mhm.
why I am part of the International Men's Day, also in
Mhm.
this part of the Caribbean.
Mhm. Mhm. And when is the International Man Day? Because it's not really advertised. So what's the date for that?
It is November the 19th. It's celebrated on
Oh,
November
okay.
the
Wow.
19th. It
Yeah,
starts,
I didn't know about it.
yes. Well, I will start sending you information about that. We are
Mhm.
not, I think in lots of countries, but it's coming up now that we need to organize. Again, men, they need to
Mhm.
organize themselves. So they need some women to help them do that.
Organize, yeah. They can't do it without the woman. They need the woman to get them organized and disciplined, which is fantastic to know. Yes. So, so today we're actually going to talk about something that is really related to woman, which is the menopause and what they call the period power of cycle, cycling, and really want to hear your perspective about it because first of all, for those who don't know what is menopause and what is the impact of menopause, not only on a physical impact for us women, but also mentally or emotionally, and what is it doing.
And it is these topics is not only for women, it is for the men.
Mm-hmm,
I always start any of my speeches telling the audience, listen, you are here in this moment listening to me because there was a woman that had a period, and that's why you are on this world. So
mm-hmm,
put out all your beliefs out of the room and let's come and discuss this. It is two phases in of every woman. We go to different phases. We are born as a baby, then we grow up to be this nice little girl. We anticipate in being a teenager, go into adulthood. We want our own family, we want a career, and that is exactly the moment that the period that we are having monthly can be very difficult for you to combine all your wishes. And most of us, we just go with the flow every day, day by day. And then at a given moment, we are empty nested, no more children in the house. And we are thinking, okay, time to celebrate. And now you start getting all these frustrations and things that you think, okay, now, yes, I'm dying. It is just menopause. And I tell the people, menopause is another stage of life. It is not a disease. And if you can, first of all, realize that those things, they are phases in women life. And it is because of that we interact in some ways, then at work, in your family, with friends, you can live a better life. And that is what I want for all of us, women and men, to realize that you can take this part of life and just use it to the benefit of all of us.
And that's very important what you just said, because especially as women, when we look at menopause, we look at it as something really dreadful, something we already kind of looking at it as a negative experience because of all the physical, stages that we have to go through. And for some women, it's actually quite a very confronting, a period, especially as far as their body is concerned. So it is important that, like you said, we regard it as another phase of the life, and we try to see the positive in it. And that's the most difficult part. So what are the strategy that you think would work for women to look at menopause as something positive, as something they can capitalize on?
It's always started with understanding what happened when you had a period, because that is another stage of life. We start with that. In those years, 20, 30 years that we can have our period, our way of thinking, of doing things are all different than when you reach menopause. And I am not a doctor. I am talking out of my experience of all those two phases and lots of reading and most of my coaching clients. The difference is in the hormones. At a given moment when you reach your menopause, your hormones level are not peaking anymore. So first of all, your body will need to get accustomed to that. For yourself in your head, you are almost going crazy because you don't feel the emotions as you had them 10, 15 years ago. You have the experience of life with you and lots of symptoms that when you go to your house doctor or to any specialist, the only thing they tell you is settle for it. It is part of life. If you're lucky, 4 or 5 years from now, you're not feeling anything. So that means to say for 4 or 5 years, you will have to go into bed every night crying, hoping that you will get up next morning, being sick, not knowing if you can go to work, if you can do your own work. So for that, I came out with a program. But it is also speeches. It starts with realizing that I am in another phase of life. I have to look at things different. I cannot be running and doing 4 or 5 things at the same time. somehow when we reach that stage of life, we start thinking as men.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean it, I don't
Wow.
downgrade the man, but men usually do things one by one and not
Mm-hmm.
as women, two, three things simultaneously. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
accept that. And imagine that you come from a way of life that you can do four or five things simultaneously. And now,
Exactly.
if you try to do it, all four will fail. And it is just a way of change it. Do one thing
Mm-hmm.
today, do it good, finish it, and then tomorrow you can do something else. It is
Mm-hmm.
that means to say that even at work, you must change your way of how you were doing your career. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot do
Mm-hmm.
it as 10 years ago. So it is a lot of mentally realizing that I need to change myself. Don't
Mm-hmm.
talk even about food. Huh. Try eating what you were eating when you were 25 and you will see you
Mm-hmm.
can't sleep. Or you will
Yeah.
have to go to the doctor with all high levels of everything.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
just have to accept it. What women also can accept is that they realize that if they are in a relationship with a man,
Mm-hmm.
suddenly they can understand that partner better because we
Mm-hmm.
will start thinking at the same way and same level as the men.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it
Yeah, so it's really interesting because and when I look and then when I try to process what you say is basically as we go through menopause, we should be able to think like more like men. So, which means in management, we should be able to be in a great position to take some of those management positions that where men are excelling. Am I right?
exactly exactly you are so right. But what
Mm-hmm.
happened because what you are doing at your work at this moment in time, you are
Mm-hmm.
failing on it. Let's put it that way, because going
Mm-hmm.
to the pre-phase of menopause, you are
Mm-hmm.
failing at what you are doing right now. People will not give you the confidence to do
Mm-hmm.
a job with higher responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
I will go in most human resource departments on the islands, and some of them also in the US, and
Mm-hmm.
instruct them to look at the ages of the women.
Mm-hmm.
Sit with them, see where they are in this phase, and just relocate them, or give them other responsibilities. And you will realize that the whole department will benefit from it. Because imagine yourself, you know this lady for the past 15 years,
Mm-hmm.
started, and she was someone that always on high heels. She will run energy. She can simultaneously talk on the phone, remember what you told her, and also
Mm-hmm.
do her house chores. And now she can't even remember her name. She don't know that you talked to her 5 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
She come late to work. You will start thinking and go to your supervisor telling them, Shamila, she is not doing her job right.
Mm-hmm.
And until today, if you can't do your job right and they see you age, they will come and tell you, I think it's time for you to go home because
Mm-hmm.
you're not productive. But if we take our time and see what is happening, this person probably cannot multitask anymore. But it's a
Mm-hmm.
person with lots of experience that know what it benefit the company because she was there so long. She know what is wrong, what can be
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
better. So just change her position and you will see how things are blooming.
Wow.
And
Wow.
the same thing as the time that you are having your period. That's why we call it the cycle syncing of your period.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know that in that month of time, Some of us has it 28 days, some 36. Whatever your cycle is, you go monthly into 4 different phases within that cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So if you start with when you're having your period, let's call it, that is the winter time. It
Mm-hmm.
feels like that. It is cold. You want to wear dark clothes. Uh, you want to have chocolate. You don't want to go out. You want to
Mm-hmm.
be inside to recharge all what you have in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
A week later, you are the most outgoing person. You
Yeah.
want to try new things. You can brainstorm. You will say, okay, I want to paint my room this nice color.
Mm-hmm.
That's then spring.
Yeah.
2 weeks, a week after, you are in your time of evolution. What's that word? That's a difficult word for me to pronounce in English. That's
Mm-hmm.
where you have where you have that egg. What's that
Mm-hmm.
word for it? No.
The yeah. So the ovarian.
Ovulation.
Yeah.
Yes, you are in your
Mm-hmm.
ovulation period. Sorry, I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
say that word to pop you into. That
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
when you feel sexy. You think you can have the world, and
Mm-hmm.
after that, you have again some days. That is what most of us used to do multitasking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So imagine again, you have your husband, or sometimes even your sons.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
At the first part of your period, you're telling them, A, oh yes, I want this color of paint for my room. And two
Mm-hmm.
weeks later, when they come with the color, you tell them, nah, it's impossible that I chose that color.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's all because of these phases. And in every phase, you can do something better. You have to look
Mm-hmm.
at your job. What is the most important thing of my job, and combine it with these phases. And if you can do that, probably you will finish all tasks on time, and most of them
Wow.
in a better way.
Wow. This is really a revelation because I would have never. I know there's the mood swing hormones, but I was not really in thinking that it would go to impact the way we make decision on a professional in a professional sphere, and we have Sister Tamika watching from the US. Thank you for joining us. Yes, great show. Lots of learning, and I think it is just the beginning. So we're gonna have a break, and then we get back to this very insightful, conversation and all the information that we're getting from Shamilla. So don't go anywhere. We will be back in few minutes. So we are back. We are back with Shamilla all the way from Aruba. And as you could see, that was a short clip of She Exists. She Exists is one of the supporting organization, for this show. And it's always a pleasure to be able to see the amazing work that is done by the team of She Exists and its CEO, Janelle Harris. So we're back here. For those who are just joining us, we're talking about menopause and the different cycle of menopause and how it impacts not only our moods, but I think you knew about the mood, but you didn't know that it was impacted as well the way you work and the way you manage things. So that's what we've learned, but there's more to come. And one question that I have, Shamilla, so if we become really very focused towards the menopause and during the different cycle of the menopause, so that's probably we shouldn't actually retire. So that's probably the best time for us women to really get involved and really manage, because management is about focus, management is about structure. So what do you think about it?
Exactly. Do you know that I explain it as menopause? Menopause is not a period. Menopause is just a date.
Mm-hmm.
You are a person and you're having your period monthly,
Mm-hmm.
and by getting older, you will realize that you will skipping some of those
Mm-hmm.
months, but you have to skip 12 months, so a whole year without any
Mm-hmm.
menstruation, and then you are in your menopause.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us, we have the problem in the premenopause. Like, okay, you will see 1 month not, 2 months not, then it'll come back. Then before you know, you have 6 months without seeing any of that. And then it will come back for 1 and 2 months and it will start. So you have to really sit it out until you have 12 months that you didn't get your period. Then you
Mm-hmm.
are in menopause. You see,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and most of us, we don't know that. They don't teach us that.
No.
That's why you have these ladies over 50 years that will get pregnant,
Mm-hmm.
because we will think, oh, yeah, we didn't see our period, our menstruation for 5, 6 months, so it is okay. No, it is not okay. And
Mm-hmm.
you miss that in between, you can get pregnant.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And most of us, we have the problem in that period of going to 1 year completely
Mm-hmm.
no. And that is the time where you have to try to check yourself good, look at what you're eating, start doing better things, and probably a career change can work
Mm-hmm.
very good. Since as soon as you are in your menopause, you will look at life different. It will be just like December the 31st. We
Mm-hmm.
celebrate New Year, you sleep, and the other day you know you are in a new year. Well,
Mm-hmm.
that will happen when you really are at your menopause phase. You will
Mm-hmm.
realize that we say here in the Caribbean, our tongue don't have hairs anymore on it. It's a way of
Mm-hmm.
saying that we will tell you the thing as it is, because
Mm-hmm.
know that this child will do something wrong. You can see it coming. You had that
Mm-hmm.
experience. It comes for our career also. Most of us will be great coaches at that age,
Mm-hmm.
because you pass through so much things. You have so much real life experience that you
Mm-hmm.
can teach and help others with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Mhm. So you must see this as it's not a disease. Just as
Mm-hmm.
you prepare yourself for going into motherhood, you have to
Mm-hmm.
prepare
Mm-hmm.
yourself for this. And I think
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
about 2 months ago, I mentioned it as a HR consultant. We have
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of rules in place on this side of the world. And we have them
Mm-hmm.
for if a woman is pregnant, then you get six week leave before the date and so much
Mm-hmm.
after, and no one looks at the menopause phase.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about men, men goes through something like this also. And
Yeah.
at work, we don't look at that neither. And let me
Mm-hmm.
don't even start talking about that because some of the ladies here will throw their shoes on me, especially those young ladies. Because for men, we know we have this saying they are going through their second teenage years. So that
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
say they will be attractive to younger women.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are this young professional going to work in your mini skirt, showing all what you have, 8 hours
Mm-hmm.
a day on this adult, more
Mm-hmm.
mature man, at a given
Mm-hmm.
moment, yes, he will tell you something that you will not like because
Mm-hmm.
he is also in a phase. But we were here talking about menopause today, but it was just
And you brought a good point, which is we're preparing for everything, from birth, when we have to give birth, and some other, phase that we go through. So why are we not, getting, all the credit to prepare the menopause and take time off as well, because it's quite a big phase, because we go on, the hormonal cycle that we go through. There's so many, and for women, they're really affected physically by that. So that's another thing that needs to be, highlighted. But as a coach, how do you handle, how do you do your coaching, how do you handle you know all those, because people are not used to it, and I know, for example, in some countries it's still a taboo. They don't talk about it. You go through it, but you're basically so scared to mention it, to talk about it. So how do you manage that, in with your clients, either locally or internationally?
it, you know, 10 years ago, I wasn't there myself. So
Mm-hmm.
10 years ago, I wasn't giving coaching for menopause. Now,
Mm-hmm.
yes, I can. And it starts with acknowledge. I can
Mm-hmm.
let my clients know, yes, all those things that you are feeling, I
Mm-hmm.
had some of them too. And you
Mm-hmm.
must
Mm-hmm.
just accept life. This is what I am now. I am a more
Mm-hmm.
mature person. I'm growing to another phase of life.
Mm-hmm.
And by accepting it, I already gave you a peace of mind. And when you have a
Mm-hmm.
peace of mind, then you can work on talking to your children, talking to your spouse, talking to your colleagues about it. Because I don't know if you experience it that way.
Mm-hmm.
At a given moment for me, Shamila, I said, I am so glad that
Mm-hmm.
I have a husband sleeping next to me every night.
Mm-hmm.
Because every night when I go to bed, as soon as the last light is off, I start wondering in this head of me,
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to die tonight because my heartbeat is doing something that I don't know. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, is it possible? What will happen to my children and my
Yeah.
work? And it's going there on and on for 2, 3 hours. Imagine if you are alone in your house, if you don't have
Mm-hmm.
anyone to talk about, of if the partner that you have is not at the same stage or you cannot talk
Mm-hmm.
to this person, how would you find a at least a peace of mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I know wealthy women here on this world, I will not mention the name,
Mm-hmm.
admitted on a talk show on TV that she thought with all that money that she will die at the age of 50. Because it was
Wow.
sudden when she became 49, she
Mm-hmm.
realized that she couldn't eat anything because anything that you eat will give her a rash. She
Mm-hmm.
couldn't sleep. And through the whole day, she was even talking about suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And just going through coaching, she had the luck and the money that she could have go to a coach in those 20 years ago. She
Mm-hmm.
realized that okay, I can manage this. So if you are suffering from any strange thing, if your physician did tell you, if your house doctor
Mm-hmm.
told you, oh, it is just menopause, yes, I encourage everybody, go Google nowadays. You can Google all things, see, read
Mm-hmm.
yourself, but just accept. And I will say, go outside. If you drink wine, buy yourself a glass of wine, buy yourself a glass of a chocolate, anything that you celebrate with.
Mm-hmm.
And today or tomorrow, take it telling yourself, oh, I am celebrating that I reached so far in life that
Mm-hmm.
now I am in my menopause. That means to say I conquered baby, childhood, teenager, motherhood, adulthood, and now
Mm-hmm.
I am an experienced person in this world, and I still
Mm-hmm.
have a lot to give back. If you can accept that, then we can go into talking about what do you must eat, must not, still go to gym, what
Mm-hmm.
kind of social activities, how to make this open to speak about
Mm-hmm.
it in your environment. As long as you don't accept it for yourself, we or you cannot help yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That it is with that it starts. And of course, we can go into, because I have a 3 months program, I do a one-on-one coaching. You can come in
Mm-hmm.
just for one, but it takes time. It takes energy from yourself
Mm-hmm.
to conquer this part of life also.
Yeah. So that's really good, and at the end, like you said, it's really the integration of everything. So it start with, the acceptance, accepting that you're going through this new phase, and it's not a condemnation. It's actually a phase that you have to go through, and you just have to stay positive about it. And then it lead to your way of life as well. Now what you eat, and also are you exercising, I would say what you read as well, everything that you put into your mind is very important.
Yep.
So it is just a phase that needs more attention, I would say, not only from women but from men as well, to really understand what we go through as mature women, and how this hormonal, how the hormones, are actually guiding a lot of the thing that we are doing. So we're gonna have another break, and then we'll be back, to continue this conversation. And I must say, I'm learning a lot today, and I hope that's the case for the audience. Because I'm actually going through, I've gone through menopause myself, but never actually get to, to educate myself about it. I just accepted it without, asking myself a lot of questions. And so that's a good personal session for me as well. So don't go anywhere. We will be back pretty soon. So we are back. We are back with Shamilla, and as I was mentioning before we went, for the break, we're learning a lot about menopause, which is another phase, like she, advised, another phase in the life that we must just accept and go through. But at the same time, there's not really a preparation for a lot of women, but also a lot of men to understand what this phase is all about. And so that's the key challenge, and not having this education and understanding what it's all about and how it affects us, not only physically but also spiritually, and also in mentally, really understand the impact. So, I mean, one question that I have is, what do you think is the most important thing, for um, really pushing this education, pushing this knowledge, and pushing the, capitalizing on menopause uh, to become the best, use it as, the best experience and become the best version, like I always say, the best version of ourselves, using it to really excel and really create something new.
I think it starts with awareness, and
Mm-hmm.
awareness at the most high possible level. Uh,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
why? Because we can stay as women with each other in rooms, in talk show like this, talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
To give an example, at this moment, it's almost 10 o'clock in
Mm-hmm.
the morning at my side. So
Mm-hmm.
most of my friends and people that need this are at work. When they come
Mm-hmm.
home at night, they are busy. So we are getting to a lot of people, but not a lot enough. We need to
Mm-hmm.
go at a higher level. That's why next week I am going to New York. Again, I
Mm-hmm.
saw She Exists magazine
Mm-hmm.
advertising here by you. So they are having an event in New York, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
planning here to speak with the mayor of New York. If we see
Okay.
here on the island of Aruba, our prime minister is also a lady. I have
Mm-hmm.
a conversation with her. If we can put this on those level that menopause,
Mm-hmm.
we need to educate people about it. We can uh, capitalize on it, and then
Mm-hmm.
from there, of course, it will come down to all the ladies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is
Mm-hmm.
my goal for this year and next year. My theme
Mm-hmm.
for myself is sharing sustainable shine. And everybody know what is shine. Shine is what you have, what I have, what you have. But
Mm-hmm.
sustainable, I mean to say, coming to shows like this, go to
Mm-hmm.
speak to a mayor, go to speak to presidents of organizations, explaining them what gain they can have if they decide to put more attention into this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And to go deeper in it, I can only tell you for a relationship between a husband and a wife because I have
Mm-hmm.
husbands for more than 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine yourself that this husband of you was with you for all this time,
Mm-hmm.
had to go through all your pains for carry baby, for motherhood, and all of that. And you have been telling him, yes, darling, understand, we have children, I have career, I have this,
Mm-hmm.
I have that. Reaching the year of menopause, most of us will be empty nested because all those babies, they are now grown ups on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think that your husband will be thinking, oh, finally, time again for the two of us as when we started as two loved ones?
Mm-hmm.
But do you know that menopause gave you less libido? That menopause changed the way you see romanticism between you and your husband?
Mm-hmm.
That's why, not all, but that is also a reason that we have divorcing. in couples that you think, but these people were forever together, and now on their old age they want to divorce? Yes,
Mm-hmm.
because they enter the path of menopause without knowing that, okay, this is another stress. It is
Mm-hmm.
for the husband, okay, this is the last thing. I accept all excuses from you for your whole life, and now you will come and tell me you don't feel anything for me? Let me
Mm-hmm.
look for that someplace else. And I think with education, we would have less of those divorces also.
Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. Because it's a big change in the couple, because and especially the sexual life, and also the emotional, the emotional state of the woman, and how she connect with her husband when she goes through menopause. So it is an important, it is important, like you said, that we get this awareness at the highest level, so that we can communicate properly with our husband, partner, or whatever it is, and really be on the same page, because otherwise we can grow apart, and that's when things start to we see divorce or separations, and so that's something to really understand. So that's really very insightful, very a lot of learning today, and really still a lot of work, I would say, to be done at all level, because you are talking about awareness really at adult level, but what about starting to talk also to, I know it's young, but you really make the point on the different of the impact of hormones, in for women, for girls, so that they understand, that it can have an impact on how they create rapport, how they interact with, between themselves, and how they come across. So that's something that needs to be done. But before we leave the platform, do you have a particular message that you want the audience to take today, after this wonderful conversation?
You know, all of us, or let me start with I used to
Mm-hmm.
feel shame about talking about on this phase of life. When
Mm-hmm.
it start happening to you, you want to don't talk to everybody, just go in your bed
Mm-hmm.
and hope it passes tomorrow. But this is part of life.
Mm-hmm.
All of us, men, experience women in their life going through this.
Mm-hmm.
So wouldn't it be better if we make this into a conversation,
Yeah.
come out and tell people what you are feeling and seek for guidance? Start
Mm-hmm.
with mental preparing yourself, reading of things, join circles of
Mm-hmm.
women going through menopause, or ask the question. And if you happen to be on a more higher level of taking decision, make this talk to this in your next meeting. Ask how what we are doing for this part, and some people still call it disease, but it is not a disease for this phase of life. How
Mm-hmm.
can capitalize on it? Because let
Yeah.
me tell you, I today we are talking woman to this, but I
Mm-hmm.
have this also in a talk in a training for a sales technique. Women of our age, usually we, because we go into another stage, no children,
Mm-hmm.
changing career, we are looking to buy another house. As a
Mm-hmm.
salesperson, you have all these tools about regular sales.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine if you can tap into how this person is going through menopause and couple it back to the
Mm-hmm.
best possible house that you have? You will sell things quicker, just to
Mm-hmm.
mention a few. But
Yeah.
school teachers, if you have experienced school teachers, you can
Mm-hmm.
bring them. instead of leaving them in their stress. So I
Yeah.
encourage you today to go online, look at menopause. You can contact me, go back, comment this uh, episode, and probably I'll come another time and we can
Yes,
do.
definitely. We definitely need you back, because I know that in 45 minutes or an hour, it's very difficult to talk about, menopause and this subject, and have really and cover, everything. So it will have, we have to have a part two, and that's definitely something that I would enjoy, because, like I said, I've learned so much today. And as soon as I leave the show, I'm going to start doing more research to really understand a little bit more as well. But it will be really great to have you back. So just, you mentioned that you'll be in New York for the next She Exists unveil copy. But what, anything else that you want the audience to know about, any workshop, any coaching program, or anything that you offer that will be really useful for the audience?
I offer a coaching program. It's a 3-month program on menopause, because the first month we'll be learning of what is menopause, how we can look into things about it, go online together. And then the second month is where we will establish where you are at in this process and couple you with accountability partners, men or women. So for the last month, we will coach ourselves and journaling what we are feeling. So at the end of those months, you have for yourself a program or a next steps to do, so you can enjoy this phase of life on a better way.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, for the audience, thank you for being with us today. It has been a pleasure, like I said, to have Shamilla all the way from Aruba. And I think the next step for us is to go to Aruba at some point. So I invite you to join me so that we can go to Aruba and enjoy. And I encourage you to look at, to do some Google and look at some of the magnificent pictures that come from that side of the world. So it has been really a good conversation to get back after our long break. And I will be back for another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show. So tonight for your part of the world, but tomorrow for me. And we are gonna have an amazing again a guest. My guest will be Marcus Jordan. Marcus is an award gospel singer and a songwriter, and he is, just amazing. And I also look forward to this conversation with him and talk about his next song that is coming out called "Be Okay." So that's all for today. Again, Shamilla, thank you for being with us. Thank you for all the knowledge that you've shared today. We will have you back for sure. And I wish you all the best with everything and that you do to educate, women and educate men as well, around the world about menopause and what menopause, how they can capitalize on menopause to become the best version of themselves, because it's all about becoming the best version of yourself and be happy with what you accomplish and really go through the phase of life. And menopause is one of the phase that we have to go through, accepting it and accepting that this is part of our life, and we can definitely capitalize and use it to our advantage. So that's all for today. For my audience, I hope that you'll be joining me tomorrow when I talk to Marcus on and really discover how talented he is and what's next with this new album Be Okay. So that's all. Take care, everyone, and I see you in few hours. See you, Shamilla.